Before we go to our first free library, I want to discuss the 3 rules that I kind of made for myself. So number 1 is that I can only skip a free library if it doesn't have like absolutely any books that I would read. Like if it's filled with just children's books, obviously I'm not gonna take one of those and read that. Also, if it's like a bunch of nonfiction or just books like I would absolutely dread to read, I'm allowed to skip it. Rule number 2 kind of helps with that. I'm allowed 1 free skip. So even if it has books that I would typically read in it, but I don't really feel like reading it, I get 1 free skip. And then rule number 3 is like kind of obvious, like I have to leave a book in order to take a book. So I have a stack of books I'm gonna get and bring with me to all these little free libraries. Okay, those are all my rules for myself for this week. I'm so excited to read some new books and look at all these cute little free libraries. So we're gonna go to our first one now. Okay, for some reason I filmed these clips vertically. I literally do not know why I did that. I'm like an amateur at YouTube or something. I think I was just anxious and didn't even think about the way I was recording. But besides that, so I first just went in with a really quick first glance to see if any authors or titles stood out to me. I saw this one, Girls in the Pants, sounded kind of familiar, so I remembered to look back at that one. And then I also saw this Stephen King book, but later I read the back of it and realize, yeah, that's definitely not for me. So then I go through again to really be nitpicky, look up on Goodreads, see if any of these are genres that I would like to read. Also, I saw this book, Emma by Jane Austen, which I know is a classic. Yeah, so then I took out this Jack and Jill book. I was really about to get this one, and then I look it up on Goodreads and realize it is a part of a series, so unfortunately I can't read that. So I ended up putting it back. Okay, unfortunately that one did not work out for me. I mean, I really tried to pick a book or like find a book that I could read. Most of the ones I found were like a second or third in a series. Like there was 2 that I would really consider, but they were in a series, so I couldn't read that. Oh, I was gonna get Emma. I just don't read classics, so I felt like it's fine. Like I don't think this counts as my free skip because I've never read a classic, so it's not like books I would have read if, like, you know what I mean? It's like not a genre I usually read, so I'm not using that as my free skip. That's not a genre I read, and I just don't think today's the day to start that classic, so I just left it for someone else. But I'm gonna go to another one nearby. Hopefully that one has one. Like I need to get one from there, so I'll see you at the next one. Guys, I'm so sad. The most awkward thing happened, and it was just a whole thing. So I go to this other free library near me, and I thought it was in a neighborhood, so it's like no biggie, like the one I was just in was in a neighborhood, like that's fine. Well, then I pull in and it's like a shopping center. There's stores, and I'm like, okay, already I'm gonna feel awkward like having to be at this library with my phone, camera stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, it's fine. So then I park, but then I don't see it anywhere. I was thinking it might be like in front of one of the buildings or stores. No. So then I go on the little free library thing, looking at the location, and then under the description it says located inside the State Farm building. No, I don't want to go inside an establishment and have to talk to people and like them see me filming me looking at a free library. Like I know they probably don't care, but I care, you know? So then I'm like sitting in the car trying to like decide if I just leave or if I can like psych myself up enough to go inside. So eventually I'm like, no, you're gonna go inside, you're gonna do it, you're gonna do this thing. Like it's not that bad, like you can do it. So then I get out of my car and I go up to the door and I'm like trying to pull the door open. It's not opening, and I'm just like, am I dumb? So then I push, nope, still not opening. Then the guy, like there's like a guy standing a few yards, I don't know, away, and he's like, oh ma'am, they're closed. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, they open again at like blah blah blah. I don't even know what he said. I was like blacked out at that point, and I was like, okay, thank you. And then I just left. And then I saw, like before I left, I saw a sign on the door that literally said we're closed, but I was still me trying to pull and push the door 5 times, like, oh my god, that's so embarrassing. So now I just left. I'm gone now. I'm somewhere else, and I have no book, and now I'm embarrassed. That's the update. I'm sad. Okay, luckily I did end up finding another free library near me, and this one ended up being a lot more promising. I immediately started picking out books that I thought would be good reads for me. I saw this Harry Potter one, but I didn't take it because I already own the series and I haven't read it yet. But I saw The Girl from Widow Hills. That one kind of looked like a thriller to me, so I put that aside to look up on Goodreads. I almost dropped all of them. Thank goodness I didn't, though. And then Parked, this one I have no idea, didn't even have a dust jacket. This one, Beyond Order, and then this book stood out to me as well. And then after I got all the books that stood out to me. I narrowed them down to 2 based on like Goodreads and the genres and everything. So I was between A Week at the Lake, which seemed more of like a literary fiction, maybe romance kind of vibe, and then The Girl from Widow Hills, which was a thriller. And then the last book that I considered was The Woman in the Window, which I'm so upset because at the time I filmed this, I thought I had read this book, but I actually just read The Girl on the Train, not The Woman in the Window. And I think this is like a companion novel to that one. I don't know. But I made my decision and then dropped off the last song. Oh my gosh, I was sitting out there for so long because I just couldn't decide, and I wanted to look at every single book and look it up on Goodreads and just really make my decision based off everything that I could. And I ended up getting The Girl from Widow Hills, which is a thriller, and I'm so excited. I didn't expect to be reading a thriller right now. I don't know, I just thought there'd be like more romance books, but there was actually like a good selection in that one. That one was so cute, and I looked this one up on Goodreads. It has really good reviews, and some of the people that I follow on there read it, and one of my friends gave it 5 stars. So I was like, okay, I think that kind of solidifies this for me, and now I can go home and start this book. It's upside down. Okay. I have to read it backwards. Wait, I'm so confused. Oh, wait, no, I don't. Okay. Is it upside down? No, I was holding it upside down. Okay, we're good. False alarm. I just got to page 112, so chapter 11. I'm about this far into it. Trying to move my thing. This far into it so far. Honestly, I read this like pretty, like not really fast, but just I didn't feel like the need to put the book down. Like it's really interesting and entertaining so far, and I'm pleasantly surprised by it. So we're following Olivia, but her real name is Arden because she changed her name because when she was younger, she had this very traumatic experience happen to her, which was kind of caused, well, we're assuming it was caused by her sleepwalking. So she used to sleepwalk a lot, and then she kind of grew out of it, but now we're in the present and she is starting to sleepwalk again, and she's not remembering anything that's happening. You're kind of learning about the traumatic event that happened to her. You get like little news interviews, and you're kind of learning about that, and then in the present you're just seeing her go through her life, and then randomly she finds a dead body in her front yard, and she doesn't remember because she was sleepwalking, and like she wakes up and then the body is there, and then there's this investigation just starting to unfold. So it's very interesting, and I think it's going to be like fast paced. I'm guessing there's going to be like a big plot twist, so I'm trying to like really pay attention. So far I like it. I'll see how much further I get today, but yeah, so far so good. I haven't been able to read in 2 days. I've just been really busy and had literally no time for reading. But the entire time, like the past 2 days, I've just been waiting to come home to today because I knew I'd finally have time to sit down and read this book because I've been thinking about it. It's been living rent-free in my brain. I'm thinking about it constantly. Last time, like the first day I started reading this, I got to like 50% that day. Like I just can't put it down. But then I had to put it down for 2 days. But, you know, I didn't want to. I'm just going to sit down and read this. Like things are happening. Things are escalating. I'm still confused, but I'm having a great time. And I just like want to know. And the writing is like so easy too. Like it's just like sometimes with thrillers, I think it could be a little bit boring at the beginning, like when it's setting up stuff and like giving you a lot of background. This one, like you just get thrown into it, and I love that in thrillers. I'm just so pleasantly surprised so far. that this book that I just got from a random public library might be a 5-star book. I don't know because I'm not finished obviously, but I'm kind of getting that feeling. So I'm going to continue to read it and I'll let you know. I'm literally on the last chapter of this much left. Things are going down, so I just need to read it. Oh my god, like the signs were there. I just missed all of them. Oh my gosh, I finished. I like need to process this. Like, oh my gosh. I love how like everything came together at the end, and like you're not really like left with any questions. I don't think. I can't think of any right now. I'm just like mind blown. I just need to like go process this and I'll like come back with a rating. I can't fully say, but I have a really good feeling and I think I have a rating, but like I want it to settle for a second, you know? Okay, it's actually been a few hours now. I was gonna come back tomorrow, like after a full night's sleep, but I was like, I just kind of want to talk about the book. So I was like, I'll just do it now. I think I have to give it 5 stars. Like, I read this basically in 2 days, like in 2 separate sittings. And if I had the time, I would have read it in one sitting, if that was like possible for me to do. Because this book just had me totally enthralled from the beginning. And it's very like fast-paced, quick chapters, and in between the present chapters you're getting either like a news article or a police transcript or like something along those lines that have to do with the case from Olivia's childhood. I love the main character. You're learning and following with her, so literally like as she learns something, you're learning it, and you're kind of going through her point of view, so you're not quite sure if she's a reliable narrator or not, and you're just the whole time you're like, what is true? And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars unless I change my mind, but I really doubt it. I definitely want to read more by this author too. Like, this is my first book by Megan Miranda, and I definitely want to read more by her. I just loved her writing and the way she was able to just write this cohesive story and for it to all come together at the end. It's like one of those books like you want to reread after you finish it because like you want to go see if there's like signs that you missed, you know? And I'm just totally shocked that like literally the first book I read in this video that I just found a random book at a random little free library is a 5-star book, like gonna be one of my favorite books of the year, and I just randomly found it. Like, that is just crazy to me how that worked out. Like, you never know what books are gonna be your next favorite book, and I just happened to pick it out of a random selection of random books. So we literally started off the video with a 5-star book. I'm nervous to see what we read next, but I'm excited, and I'll see you later when I go to pick out my next read. Okay, so at this point, I was kind of running out of little free libraries in my immediate area, so I had to go a little bit farther, really hoping that I was going to find some good books. And unfortunately, this one kind of let me down. It was just full of like really old books. Like, I don't even know what that one was. And unfortunately, I just didn't find any in this one that I could really read or really want to read. I thought about getting this book, but I think it ended up being like a part of like some interconnected long series, so I just passed on it. And I heard about Danielle Steele before, and my mom said she's a good author, but I just really did not want to read this one at all. So I did end up using my one free skip for this library, but I did get this love poem book by Danielle Steele to give to my sister because she loves poems, and then I ended up putting After in here for some reason. So after I used my one free skip, I still needed to find a book to read for the day, so I went to this one, but this one again did not have very many options, so I settled on this James Patterson's detective book and ended up leaving this Lost Mountains book. Okay, so last night I actually started French Kiss just to kind of get into the book. Like, it's so short, I feel like I could just read it really quick. Like, I don't know. I'm like nervous for this because it's not something I would typically read, but my mom kind of convinced me. She said James Patterson is a really good author and like pretty popular. It says it's like fast-paced, novels you can devour in a few hours, impossible to stop reading, all original content from James Patterson. I'm 30 pages in, and I think we just got to like a big thing in this book. Like, he moved to New York, and he's just kind of been doing little cases, and he's like pretty good at solving cases like accidentally. Like his first case he just kind of solved on a whim. So I'm just gonna keep reading. It's like fast paced so far. I just don't know if I'm gonna like love it, but I'm not bored yet, so that's a good sign. So I'm gonna go read it. Okay, well, it's been a minute. I'm currently going through like the biggest book slump of my life, so I have no idea how long this video is going to span for. But I did end up finishing French Kiss quite a while ago. I just never updated the vlog. Like I like read it basically in one sitting. Nothing special, nothing crazy. It was very quick, which is kind of like the point of these like book shots books. Like they're supposed to be really quick. I just like a little bit of a longer story with like fully developed characters and a longer plot. I ended up giving this one 3 stars though. I feel like it was good for what it was. It's just not my type of thing, but I'm glad I gave it a try. I liked the writing. I'd be interested to see if he has like longer books. I would probably read that. So then I ended up going to another free library, actually a few more, so I'll insert those clips here. So at this free little library, I immediately saw Normal People by Sally Rooney, and I've already read this book, but since I already used my one free skip, I decided to just take this one with me. And I did look through all the rest of the books, but they just were all very old and just not my kind of book. So then I left Shipped. But then I thought about it and I decided that I really wanted to have a new book to read for this video. I didn't want to read a book that I've already read previously, so I decided to go back to this library, which is where I found my 5-star book, and just to see if they had any new books, and I saw that they had Barefoot in here. And this one is by Ellen Hildebrand, so I thought it would be the perfect book for the summer. And I also was planning on getting A Week at the Lake when I showed up here, but since Barefoot was here, I decided to just get this one. It's like, seems like the perfect summer read. And then I ended up leaving Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. So as you saw, I did end up getting Barefoot by Ellen Hildebrand, which I was so excited to start reading. I want to read an Ellen Hildebrand book. But as you can see, I'm 10 pages in. Like, I have tried to read this multiple times. I started this book. When did I start this book? July 6th. It is now the 11th. Okay, that's not that dramatic, but like that's a good amount of time. Usually I'd be done with this book by now, but I just haven't been reading at all. Literally at all since I finished this book. So yeah, that's my update for now. I'll come back when I'm a little bit, hopefully, further into this book. This is what I want to do. That was a bit dramatic, but kind of true, because I have tried, I don't even want to discuss it truly. Like, I just want to stop reading it. Guys, I've tried. I've really tried. And I just can't. Like, I just cannot read this. I don't know what it is, but I'm not liking this. Not a single thing. It doesn't help that I don't like any of the characters. It doesn't help that I don't like the fact that it's literally a character-driven book. There's barely a plot. I don't like the writing. I don't like third-person POV. Usually, sometimes it doesn't bother me. It's bothering me in this one. And like, I can appreciate what it's doing. I can appreciate what it is. And I am not giving up. Don't worry. However, I can't read this with my eyeballs. It's just not gonna. It's gonna take me a year. At this rate, it's gonna take me a year. So I have decided to get a free trial of Audible to read this book, because I don't want to wait for the Libby wait time. I don't want to buy the book because I don't like it. I'm never going to read it again. But I'm determined to finish it. So, like I said, yeah, I got the Audible free trial. I'm going to cancel it right after I finish this book. And it's going better. I can explain what it's about, and rather than just hating on it and not telling you a single premise about it. So, like I said, it is a character-driven book, so there's not really a big plot. But we have 3 women who I forget all the names for besides Vicky, because Vicky's my queen. The rest I don't like. So we got Vicky. I'll start with Vicky. She has, okay, well, first of all, sorry, I'm all over the place. There's 3 girls. He wants to be sitting up here, so don't mind his head bobbing around at the bottom. There's 3 girls who all go to this beach house on Nantucket. 2 of them are sisters, and then one is like one of the sisters' friends, and they all have like some drama going on in their current life, so they go to the beach house to kind of escape it and like enjoy the summer away from their normal everyday lives. So Vicky has just found out that she has cancer, and she has 2 little boys, and so she and the boys go to the beach for the summer so she can kind of enjoy like this last little summer with them. She's not sure if she's going to survive chemo, all this stuff, so she's dealing with that. And then her sister Brenda has just gotten fired from her job as a university teacher for sleeping with her student, which was a big thing for me at the beginning. I was like, no, I don't like that, and I don't want to read about a character like that. It's like, it's not as bad as it sounds. Like, the guy was 32, I believe, and she's like 30, so he was actually older than her, which like doesn't make it okay. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying at least it's not like literally a child or something like gross like that. It's, you know what I mean? But I still just like don't like that, and I don't want to read about a character like that. But moving on. And then we have Melanie, who is Brenda's friend, who is going through a rough patch in her relationship because her husband has cheated on her, and they have been trying to have a baby for a few years, and she unexpectedly finds out that she's pregnant. And instead of telling her cheating husband, she just leaves for the summer and is gonna just go live at the beach and ignore her problems. So that's kind of the gist of that. And then they meet Josh, who was like working at the airport, I believe, and then he just is like, hey, do you guys need a nanny for the summer? Because I'm like willing to be there, a nanny, because I want to date Brenda. And so that kind of starts that, which I actually will say I do like Josh, but I don't like the reason that he started out nannying. So at first I was like, no, but I'm kind of liking him now. And I'm just kind of bored. Like, truthfully, I'm very bored, probably because I don't care about the characters. I'm just so upset that I'm not liking it. But like, don't let me deter you completely from this book. I feel like I'm just absolutely hating on it. I feel like if you could get past Brenda as a character, and Melanie kind of bothers me too, but then you might have more room for love in your heart for this book. I just, unfortunately, once I get the ick or something from a book or a character, or, you know, I'm like tapped out. I feel like I'm absolutely hating on this book, and I'm so sorry if you love this book or if you like this book. I could see that. Just like I said, I'm petty and I hold grudges. That's my update. Unfortunately, it's not a great one, but you can't win them all, you know? Guess what? I finished this book. Unfortunately, my first experience with Ellen Hildebrand was not a very good one. I'm not writing Ellen Hildebrand off completely yet. I'll give her like a few more tries and then see if maybe she's not for me. I don't know. Unfortunately, this book was definitely a letdown and just not something that I personally enjoyed. Like I said, it's very character driven instead of plot driven. You are following the plot of like Vicky's cancer. I don't know, like the first 50-60% I was so entirely bored. So bored. But then maybe like 70% I was like, I wasn't bored, but I still wasn't like itching to pick up the audiobook. I was just like, okay, I'll listen to it just because I want to finish it, but I wasn't bored once I started listening to it. I'm glad I tried this book, but overall just wasn't for me. I think I'm gonna land on a 2-star. I'm gonna go reflect on this, and then I will see you for our final little wrap up of all the books we read in this video. It's time to do a little recap of all the books that I read in this video. Unfortunately, there's only 3 of them because I put myself in a massive book slump. So that's fun. So as you saw, the first book that I read in this video was The Girl from Widow Hills. And we did start off this video with a 5-star book, literally an amazing book. Also, I just haven't felt the way I felt reading this book since I read this book, if that makes sense. Like, I have not felt joy like when I was reading this book. Unfortunately, this book made me feel so many things. Before reading this book, I had not had a 5-star book in a while, and this book just reminded me how good it feels to read a book that you just absolutely love. And I wish I could read it for the first time again. Like, I need a book like this right now. You saw a lot about this book already. I'm not going to ramble too much. And it was just so beautifully written and beautifully executed that I want to reread this book because, like I said previously, it is just a book you want to reread after you figure out everything, and everything comes together so well. Like, there were signs that I just missed, but I love it. It got me and I love it, and I'm gonna think about this probably for the rest of the year. Definitely one of my favorites of the year, which is so crazy. If you learned anything from this video, go read this book, please, and tell me your opinions, please. Then we went into a not so great book for me. I mean, I still rated it 3 stars. I mean, I'm glad I tried his writing out. Like, it was good writing. I just think I like longer, full, fleshed out stories. Like, if you like shorter novella type books, you would like this, because it's literally in the Book Shots like series, I guess. If you like that kind of thing, I would recommend checking this out, because it wasn't bad by any means. It's just not my kind of thing. And at least I learned that, you know? Hey, at least I learned something. I learned that these short little mysteries are just not for me, and that's okay. But if you like it, you should definitely give it a shot. I'm glad I tried it, and I'll probably end up putting it back in a little free library and switching it out for a new book, but that's the joy in it. Like, if you don't like a book, you can go bring it back and let someone else try, and maybe they'll enjoy it more. And then the last book that I read that put me into the worst book slump is Barefoot, which is literally such a disappointment. I went into this book so excited to start reading an Ellen Hildebrand book. I've heard so many good things about her, and I think this just happens to be a one-off for her. Maybe I saw other reviews on Goodreads that like kind of agreed with what I was saying, so that's it. That's the end of this video. I think I want to definitely do this video again, because I liked going to all the free libraries, seeing all of them. Unfortunately, a lot of the ones near me didn't have the greatest selection, so, but you never know. Maybe I'll try it again. Let me know if you want me to do this video again. I'm glad we found a 5-star book in here. At least we have that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and I'll see you in my next video very soon.